changing gears for a minute, we're going to move towards a player who is still on the Flyers roster. This was at the Caravan in, I believe it was Ocean City, New Jersey. It was Jamie Drysdale and Tyson Forrester were there. It's more of like a community thing. They're trying to, drum up support for the Flyers, but because the players are there, they can be interviewed. And I was not at this Caravan. We had a show at 1 p.m., so I was not able to drive down to Ocean City, unfortunately. But Adam Kimmelman of NHL.com was there and interviewed Jamie Drysdale. And we've talked about on this show that Jamie Drysdale was injured. We talked about it during the season. We talked about it after the season when Drysdale more or less said without saying that he was playing hurt all year. And then Danny Briere said that he is going to be having a procedure, most likely be having a procedure on the core muscle area of his body. Then in early June, I reported that surgery was completed. But this is the first time that Jamie Drysdale himself opened up about the nature of the surgery. He confirmed that it was a sports hernia. And the quote from the Adam Kimmelman article on NHL.com from Jamie Drysdale, the doctors mentioned it was not ideal. It was probably worse than what they thought it was. I guess they call it a sports hernia, but really just a tear of the muscle. Jamie Drysdale is skating again. He expects to be fully ready and fully healthy for training camp. But we do now have clarity on the exact nature of the injury. And we can now say with certainty that Jamie Drysdale was not 100% healthy at any time so far that he's worn a Flyers jersey. JP, what does that do for your opinion of his first season in orange and black? What does that do for your view of his ceiling? And maybe does that make you reassess what you saw?
Well, if you're any type of Flyers fan, I mean, you have to read that and think to yourself, wow, like you have to love him even more because this man came in here and played hurt. And obviously, look, the Cutter Gauthier trade put enough pressure on him because, we give Anaheim one of our top prospects. In comes in Drysdale, who was one of their top prospects. And we all kind of put a little bit of pressure on him because obviously that was the big trade piece. We all thought Cutter was going to be part of the future. And then, I think I was with you and Bill when we first saw him play and watching him skate on that ice. We were just in awe. And that's kind of the one thing we're hanging on to, right, is that skating ability, being able to help in the offensive zone and that type of aspect. But, I mean, Charlie, just imagine coming into this upcoming season, he's fully healthy. I think that you have some high aspirations this upcoming season for Jamie Drysdale on that blue line. And a lot of these, blue liners are young and we're still trying to figure out what their exact ceiling is. And for Drysdale, to be honest, Charlie is one of those guys where I do have high hopes for because of some of the glimpses that I saw. And now hopefully he can be healthy. But that's crazy. The entire season, not fully 100%. You got to tip your hat off to him, man.
Yeah, and he said in the interview, apparently he suffered the injury in the very first game of the season, which is rough. So even before the Flyers traded for him, it was abundantly clear when you talk to people on the record with the Flyers and off the record that they knew, like this was no surprise. They knew when they made the trade that he was battling this. And I believe Danny Briere actually said after the season that they had brought up the idea to him of like, if you want to get the surgery and sit out the rest of the year, you can. Like, we have your back. And Drysdale basically said, no, I want to play through it. I know I'm not going to be 100%. I'm probably not going to be as effective as I would be otherwise. But I've played in so few games over the last few years because of the injuries. He had the shoulder surgery, missed basically the entire previous year. He just wanted to get NHL experience because he didn't want his development to be stunted. And Briere praised him for it. The negative of it, though, is that it allowed fans to, I think, get a negative first impression of Jamie Drysdale. There are a lot of people, even people in this very comment section, I see them every day, that do not think highly of Jamie Drysdale. They think he's going to be a bust. They think he'll never stay healthy. They think the Flyers got taken to the cleaners in the Cutter Gauthier trade. And it's going to be interesting if those people change their tune this upcoming season, if he shows that, hey, I'm healthy. Like, he already looked like a great skater, even playing through a sports hernia. I'm really excited to see how good of a skater he can look like when he's 100%. That's going to be exciting. Now, maybe he doesn't have the it factor. Maybe he doesn't have the hockey IQ and the hockey sense and whatever to take full advantage of his skills. But it's abundantly clear he has skills. And now we're realizing that, like, he wasn't even using all of those skills last year because he was playing hurt from day one.
So I guess I have to ask. So the Pittsburgh, when we played in Pittsburgh and he got dropped down, and it looked like we all of us thought it was that shoulder injury. So that was that in connection with that sports hernia as well, because that one scared us all there.
My understanding is no. Obviously, he was playing through the sports hernia when he got injured. But if anything, like that was just a completely separate deal that he was then, it gave him maybe some time to recover a little bit and let the sports hernia heal. But like, you need to get surgery to fix this thing. Like, it's not like sitting around for a month and a half, however long he was out for post that shoulder injury. It's not like it was going to get better without surgery. So maybe it dulled the pain a little bit because he wasn't, obviously skating and playing it at an NHL level through an injury for the time he was rehabbing the shoulder. But it's not like that was linked. It's not like he got the shoulder injury because of the sports hernia. I think those were two separate things. And he has the surgery. He says he's skating. The hope is that he will be fully clear for the start of camp. My understanding is that is almost a certainty as long as there's no sort of like Kevin Hayes type setback.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Jamie Drysdale looks like when he is 100%. And then we can maybe fairly evaluate the trade. We can fairly evaluate who he is, because the Flyers think that Jamie Drysdale can be not just a core member of their defense, but like a true top of the lineup player. I'm excited to see if they're right.
Real quick before we go to the ad break here. So what should be, obviously everyone's got expectations. Everyone likes expectations in Flyers Nation. What should be the realistic expectation for Flyers fans with Jamie Drysdale this season?
That's an interesting question. I would say, I mean, my expectation would be, somewhere in like that 30 to 40 point range. I want to see him be useful on the power play. But what I really want to see from him is I want to see him not get crushed at 5-on-5. He doesn't have to dominate at 5-on-5. I'm not expecting this, Bradshaw reclamation project to happen overnight. I'm not expecting him to be Sean Walker immediately. That would be great if he's that good right off the bat, but I'm not expecting it. What I am hoping for is to see real progress. I'm hoping that for maybe the first time in his career, his underlying numbers aren't completely in the toilet. And you start to see him taking advantage of that skating ability, of the hockey sense that he showed in juniors, of his lateral mobility, all the things that make him an exciting young player. I want to see them start to pop up in the numbers. So not necessarily looking for him to dominate, but I'm certainly looking for him to take a step. And there's a reason why me and Bill, when we talked earlier this week about the biggest storylines of the year, number one, obviously, is going to be Mitchkov. 100% it's Matvei Mitchkov. How good is he going to be? How does he mesh with Torts? That's going to be the big story. But 2A and 2B are the goalies and Jamie Drysdale. And you could certainly make a case that Jamie Drysdale is 2 and the goalies are 3, because they traded Cutter Gauthier for him. He is now, like, the Flyers had 2 top 10 picks, Matvei Mitchkov and Cutter Gauthier. Cutter Gauthier is now Jamie Drysdale. That's what they turned him into. So now Jamie Drysdale has to be a core piece if this is going to work, because you can't get nothing out of the 5th overall pick. You got something for him. You got Jamie Drysdale. Now Jamie Drysdale has to prove that he can be more than just something.
We all silly like the mayor.